You may have heard that we use about 1% of the total processing power of our brain. Well, the actual prognosis may be much worse than that. It's been theorized that our subconscious minds process information at millions of times the rate of our conscious minds, albeit autonomously and largely out of our control. Well, one of the hopes of image cycling is to be able to harness some of the power of that subconscious mind and use it to our advantage, to be able to use it with intent. Image cycling is the axis upon which the entire Bengston Method revolves, whether you're using it for healing or for manifestation. Now, in future videos, I'm going to talk more about the hypothetical mechanisms of action, the theory behind image cycling, but for the purposes of this video, I really want to talk about the technique itself, my experience with it, and some of the recommendations I have. So the first step to image cycling is to take your list. You're going to work through each item methodically. You're going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes with each item imagining yourself in that state of wish fulfilled. You're going to imagine yourself first person seeing, touching, having the feelings that you would have, with every passing moment giving it more and more tones of reality. Now, after you've done this for each item, you're going to assign a still image, sort of a representative shot of that scene that you created. You're also going to assign a keyword. You're going to make a new list, 20 items, those keywords. Now that we have our list of key phrases, to start cycling, you're going to put the list in front of you, go to the first item and call that scene to your mind's eye. You want to see it, you want to feel it, and once it's there, you're going to move on to the second item. See it, feel it, move on to the third. Work through the entire list, and when you get to the end, start back over. You are now effectively cycling. The point, however, isn't to call a couple scenes per minute, isn't to see a couple images per second. We literally want to ramp this up to thousands of images per second. How do you get there? Practice. When I started practicing image cycling, the first thing I wanted to do is to get off the training wheels. I committed my list to memory as quickly as possible. Secondly, I decided to use a metronome. Figured it'd be a great way to help keep me accountable, but also a way to measure my progress. When I first started, I had to go all the way down to 5 BPM. That's one image per 12 seconds. To say this was excruciatingly painful and slow and frustrating would be an understatement. That being said, within a couple days, I was getting up to 30 or 40 BPM, so progress does happen quickly. Now, this is also where my list started to get sussed out. Those few items on my list that I didn't really connect to ended up being stumbling blocks, ended up taking the longest to recall. This is where I had to go back and revise my list, but once I did, everything ran much more smoothly. So the first week to me seems to be all about laying a foundation. We tap into our subconscious minds to discover our desires. We extrapolate those desires with our conscious mind. We use image cycling to deploy those. Since the crux of the Bengston Method seems to be predicated on speed itself, I foresee the next couple weeks for us to be discussing what progress looks like, what practice routines look like, what does speed itself look like. We'll also be talking a little bit about some advanced techniques that Dr. Bengston recommends to exponentially increase the speed of that cycle. Now, please do leave any questions or comments that you have below in the comment section. If you're not following already, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon will let you know whenever I put out a new video. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been entertaining and informational, and I can't wait to see you again.